Welcome back to Fulham Fix. This week we've got Kevin McDonald on the Fix. Look, we're not going to run out of Fulham legends to speak to from the past or present, but there are some big names that still need ticking off, and Kevin is definitely one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Really funny guy, part of a pack that felt like best friends from that team that got promoted.
Yeah.
But also, he's got an air of like authority to him, doesn't he, Kevin, as well?
Without a doubt.
So he's here to pick up his Forever Fulham award, and he dropped in to say hello. So we're going to watch that in a second. But also, we've been talking about getting your Fulham stories in. So Fulham Fix at fulhamfc.com is how you get in touch with us. We've already heard a story from lovely Dave about Alex Iwobi's dad, Chuka Iwobi, who we need to get on the show now because it's an amazing story.
Just because he sounds like he'll be the greatest best friend anyone could hope for.
And also, sort of, not accidentally, but because he's not originally Fulham, but he sums up an essence of Fulham Football Club in that story, does Alex and Chuka, so that's beautiful.
Without a doubt.
You've got another one for us.
Yeah, I've got another good one for you here, which is lovely. This is from Jack Lowry, who's messaged in at the email, says, our family love affair starts with my great-granddad, Harry, who lost his leg in World War I. At the time, Roehampton had a great facility for prosthetics, and Harry often visited. On one occasion, the Fulham team paid a visit to the vets and passed on their well wishes. Harry at the time didn't have a football team. He supported when he went into the hospital, but he certainly did when he left. Harry then frequented Craven Cottage many times after that, with my dad rolling him down the cinder track at the Stevenage Road stand. And I'm now... This is Jack, fourth generation Fulham, and myself and my dad both sit at the back of H6. Just a true family club.
I've got a feeling these stories are going to get too much for me, actually.
Starting to get a bit emotional.
But it already connects with what Alex was saying. But also about, from last week, about how players are actually passing on that essence of Fulham Football Club. And that story really sums up something great about Fulham Football Club, which we don't want to lose, because that's the club that I remember meeting when I was young. You know, lots of characters that you just felt those stories inside them, which is what makes Fulham Fulham. And when you look out and see it, you can see that time still. Yeah. And what other clubs can say that? Really Not many anymore.
Honestly, it's lovely. It's really lovely. And we want to hear, as many stories as you've got. Just get them in. Fulham Fix at fulhamfc.com.
Here's Kevin McDonald. Kevin McDonald, welcome to Fulham Fix, mate. You good?
Very good, yeah. It's good to be back,
see you here, man. You haven't been here for a while.
No, I've not been here for a while. Saying the last game was the Brentford game, so it was good to be back, seeing the new stadium and stuff. So yeah, it's nice.
Just saying before we came on that Jeff took you down the Golden Lion after that game. Got absolutely mobbed.
Brilliant, it was.
Do you feel that, dude?
Brilliant.
He sort of half stitched you up there with that, because there was no chance you were going to enjoy a nice quiet drink or anything like that. It was always going to be.
That must have been like Beyonce walked in the building or something.
Yeah, she was there as well.
Yeah. No. She was sitting quietly enjoying her drink in the corner.
We had a group of us that were down from Exeter, and he said, like, I'll try this pub or whatever else. Yeah. And he was there as well. Like, he was also there with his wife. So it was, as you can imagine, it was mobbed. It kicked off a bit, and then we were loving it. Good night it was. Yeah,
that is so good, man. Lots of people's stories about that, I bet.
Oh, yeah. If you were there.
Kevin McDonald's story.
Yeah, I bet you had a lot of very drunk Fulham fans.
There was a good video. I think he might have sent the video. There's a good video going around as well, of just fans singing and my mates not singing and so on, and me just doing what I do.
So what were they singing, if you don't mind me asking? Was it your song?
Yeah, but there's a few shouts. There's a few shouts in the background. Like, probably need to be cut out, to be honest with you. But
we all know how the song goes.
We do know how the song goes.
It's a family show.
It is a family show. I remember once, one of my first times I got to like properly chat with you. I think we decided a good question would be, what do you think of your song? And is it factually correct? And you then went into a really fantastic story about your wedding and the fact you were kilted. Yeah. And was it? Tell me again. Was it a cousin that sent you a message? Sent you a message saying, "I've got these photos. What do you want to see?" Yeah. Can you explain just really quickly for those that hadn't seen that, what the little bit behind that?
It was a typical Scottish wedding. Of course, you wear kilts, standard. And then at the end of the night, I can't remember the song. Long story short, the groom herself gets thrown in the air, but again, you always got no boxers on underneath your kilt, so as you do, there's bits going everywhere. And And then my auntie sent me this message. I've got this video. I've not shown anyone. It's up to you what you do with it. Send me this video, and it's brilliant. So obviously, I'm getting launched in the air. Everyone's singing, everyone's dancing, and then next minute you see, and you're like, come up. I only showed it.
Like slow motion.
I was about to say, who did you show it to?
I put it straight in the group chat. It was buzzing. It was because obviously they're the ones that are throwing me up as well. So it was
buzzing straight in the group chat.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was
great.
But my auntie was she was probably she's from America as well. She was probably mortified.
Yeah, that's amazing. The group chat as well. Like, who are we talking in the group chat? Are we talking?
Oh no, group chat with the Scottish boys back home. My mates from back home. Yeah, like the lads from Fulham were there as well. But no, the boys, your bets and TCs, they were involved.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever showed them actually. I don't think so.
Did you not?
No, I don't think so.
There's still time. At any point, just don't explain it. Just send it over. See if they watched it or not. You'll know if they watched it all the way through if they comment. But,
TC was having a good time then.
There are a lot of Fulham players at that wedding.
I think it was T was there, Betts, Alfie, Cyrus, my target. Yeah, there was a good few there was.
Yeah,
there was I don't know if Steph Johansson was there. He might not have got invited. Nah, I'm not joking. No, I think that was.
To do there.
I think that was about that. I think there was six, 7 of them. Yeah.
Good awesome, man. Awesome.
Let's talk about quickly you coming to Fulham because it's like a little bit folklore really that we were trying to sign you before Slav eventually did because Kit has said, Kit Simons obviously, but he said recently that if he had signed, he tried to sign you, and if he had, he felt like his tenure would have gone better if he'd done that because he needed that holding midfield player. Was it something, had you been in conversations with Fulham before Slav eventually signed you? Yeah,
the previous year, previous to the start of like kind of pre-season time, I remember getting like a phone call like my agent through the club at Wolves saying, if Fulham were interested in taking, but they were like, you've got no chance of going, like, and that was kind of at that time as well. Wolves were kind of looking to push on, probably doing the same idea as Fulham at that time. So it was kind of a brief conversation, and they pushed a couple of times, but Wolves were adamant that was not going to happen. And as in football, that's just that. It gets pushed under the carpet until, fortunately enough, 12 months later.
But then eventually it does happen a year later. So it's not technically, is it the club generally that wanted you, or was it Slav must have, was it direct communication with Slav, or?
Oh no, you don't speak to Slav until you get into training.
Really?
No, I didn't say a word.
Really?
Yeah.
Who had you spoken to? Do you know? Was it Tony or Shahid or?
There was who was? No, it wouldn't have been obviously Mr. Khan. It wouldn't have been that. It wouldn't have been Tony. Alistair was definitely in contact. Yeah. I would say the big scout's name again. Brian Talbot. Brian Talbot. So it was
Talbot,
no.
Yeah.
Brian Talbot. He was there. There was a couple involved. Obviously, like at the time it was kind of going off data as well. There was someone else involved, so it was kind of them. And again, like what it's like. Players very rarely directly deal with. With the opposite club that you're going to potentially move to, like it's kind of frowned upon, isn't it? So it's all done through an agent. Yeah. It gets passed on, and again, it's one of them. Until anything's kind of signed and sealed, you kind of have just waiting, really.
Yeah.
And how did you feel sort of coming into Fulham for the first time? Did it feel like a no-brainer? Did you have any doubt, or were you like, yeah, this seems like a great place to come? They're ambitious.
It was, it was quite it's an odd story actually. But I was in pre-season with Wolves. We used to do like 3 days away in Cork, a place called Folk Island, and we had our team night out on that night. As you can imagine how that went, and I woke up in the morning like we had a hell of a day out. Kenny Jack said, "Listen, we've done well. It's like kind of towards the end of pre-season, and that was kind of that." And I woke up in the morning a bit hazy, and I got a couple of missed calls from my agent, and I was like, "What's he wanting this time?" I didn't really know much was kind of going on at that time. I said, "Listen, like Fulham have bid for you and stuff. It's going to be accepted. You kind of got a medical today," and I was like, "So I was like, right, you're on a flight at I don't know." Say 1 o'clock. Flew from over there to Heathrow, whatever it was. I remember being on the phone to my wife and like kind of a bit emotional thing. Like, and even when I left, like at the same time, go back a bit. When I came down for like lunch, breakfast with the Wolves lads, I was like, lads, like I'm off here. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah,
and that's going to feel a lot more emotional with a hangover.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember like not at that time, but a little bit teary eyed, because obviously I've been there 3 years, played 120 games or so, been promoted and done really well there. So it was like, I remember speaking to the manager, and he was obviously a bit devastated as well, obviously angry at the same time with the club for accepting and stuff. But I think that was always in the pipeline for Wolves to try and move me on. That was kind of the way the last 15 games of my career at Wolves went. That was how it was. So I told the lads, and that was a bit of a shock. Then got to the airport, and I was like, I really don't want to kind of to move. I was phoning my agent in the airport, but then he's just like, listen, Kev, you can't turn this down. You need to move. There's a higher chance of Fulham getting promoted, and they're really keen to get you. And then that came here, met the people at the club, and kind of cracked down with the medical. Of course, the medical took a little bit longer, not through the hangover, but through obviously the kind of kidney side of things. And then that was that. Yeah, it was just a kind of quick enough turnaround. And
can I ask as well, when you did turn up to Fulham and you went to start your medical, did you say, or did your agent say in advance, he's had a heavy night out?
No, I told the doctor here. Yeah, Nigel Sellers at the time it was. I don't think he's here anymore, is he? No, brilliant doctor. Like, helped me so much with it. And I remember saying to him first time I met him, saying, "Listen, doc, I don't know how this will look, but I said I was steaming last night. Like that was that. There's no two ways about it." He goes, "Right, okay, I'll kind of let them know, like the people that need to know," and they kind of understood that. And I mean, I didn't sign on that day. My medical took a little bit longer, of course. It took 2-3 days, and by that point it was all done. But I think at first they were probably like, "What's happening here?" Do you know what I mean? But no, I eventually got started, and that was us. Yeah.
Just for people that don't know that story, a lot of Fulham fans will. But you mentioned a kidney there because you had a transplant at the end of your career, or that was like something. Just quickly explain for people what that situation.
I had my last, it must be my last few months at Fulham. I had the kidney transplant. 2021 it was. I found out about it when I was like 18 when I first moved down to Burnley, but I'd known the long term was going to be a kidney transplant, so I eventually got it at my last year at Fulham.
Right, yeah.
Thankfully it all worked out okay in the end, but yeah, that was kind of what happened, and that was probably where there's more of a kind of affiliation with the club, with the doctors within the club, the physios, and obviously the fans as well. So yeah, that was obviously a tough time as such, but like, again, I'll tell you one thing, it was great to have it done here because the way the club took care of me was spot on. It was.
Yeah. So you're in constant communication about that with everyone here. Yeah, you would have been.
Yeah. Like the doctors, physios mainly, throughout the course of my whole time, because the doctor was really on my side when I was signing. Because you can imagine a football club of business like this, they've got to take protocols for things like this.
Yeah.
Which is very rare, fortunately for other players. But they stuck with it. They said, "Listen, we're going to sign," and they really wanted me, and that's something you can imagine. That's really good at the time because they could easily just said, "No, it's not happening."
Right.
And they were brilliant. So the doctors that were here have been honestly amazing. Like I say all the time to every kind of interview that kind of leads back to someone like this. It's brilliant they were.
Yeah, because there must be that anxiety as a player that like any sort of physical vulnerability, you just don't want to let people know. Just, do you know what I mean? Did you have that? You must have had that feeling.
The thing about it was all quite strange. It was like no one really knew about it until I remember doing an interview over here in the stand there, and it came out kind of social media, and everyone was baffled by it because I'd played most games up until that point. Yeah. And then like towards the end I didn't play much at all, so it was like there was a reason kind of for that, and it kind of obviously then came out and it started to kind of, the pieces got put together. But yeah, it was a shock for everyone. But
yeah.
So having it done at that time, was that more out of necessity than just because it was it had got to the point where okay, it's now, it has to be done. Okay, I see.
So it had to be done at that point. My kidney function was about, I think I remember saying about 5% my kidney function was on.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was, I never really had huge symptoms of it. Symptoms of that can be like, obviously real tiredness, your blood proteins in your urine and all these type of things. But I was all right with it. I got tired and stuff, but I just thought that was getting older, so on and so on.
Sure.
But no, and it got to a point where, like, listen, I remember getting a phone call saying, I was on the way to training actually, and I remember saying, listen, you're going to need to think about what you do this season and kind of for your future, because you're going to get your kidney transplant probably done within this next year. Otherwise, you're going to go on dialysis.
Whoa.
And then that was kind of, as soon as that, mind switched to health first, football second, and that was that. And again, that's where we went back to the club. They were bang on, because they could have said, no, we want you to play, or we want you to move on, whatever it was, and they were like, whatever you need to do, then you do. So
yeah, brilliant. Yeah, amazing.
It's amazing that they fully were behind you and supported that. That's really lovely to hear.
And to make matters worse, when you do sign for the club, you come into the press office and the only kit they can find for you supposedly is an extra small shirt. What is going on there? We were looking at it today, like, it's so tight, that top.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
We've tried to sign you for years,
I know.
And then you turn up and no one's got any kit.
I didn't always like to swear. Brilliant.
You can swear, yeah, you're all good.
It was my wife that said that. I think I put the top over my.
Yeah. It's over.
Yeah, I don't put it on. I've got to like sat down. I was baffled by it, and then we went to fly. We flew to Portugal, maybe. Was it Portugal?
Yeah.
Was it Cork? It was Cork again. I maybe I got that story. Maybe I came back from Portugal and we went to Cork then. I don't know. Something like that anyway. But yeah, and my wife was like, "What's wrong with that top?"
Yeah.
And I said, honestly,
what were you thinking? Like, what is this club? This is a joke.
I'm thinking I need to get in shape here because I'm looking horrendous. Fans are thinking, what's going on here?
There was a point. Do you remember with kits? I can't remember. Was it like the 2010s where kits went really tight? Do you remember? Like we had that Kappa kit.
Yeah, Kappa one, wasn't it? I remember.
And I remember putting the Kappa kit on to play 5-a-side, and it was the most unforgiving thing I've ever put on in my life. I didn't look like Berbatov. That was for sure. I looked honestly an absolute train wreck. So bad. Let's tell us about then. So you walk in, you're then under Slav. Give us a little bit around how that was and how Slav was as a manager.
It was different. I think I had a foreign manager until that point. I don't think.
Oh, interesting.
None that I can remember. No, definitely not. No, he was the first one. Real presence about him. Man of few words, but when he spoke, you listened. And the staff that were with him, with the polar opposite was Javi was the polar opposite. So it was interesting. It was, and I remember when I first got in, I said the lads were like Slav in the way the staff work. I might not say loads to you and stuff, but as time goes on, they're really good. But yeah, it was different. It was because I just kind of normally rocked into a predominantly English, British-based dressing rooms.
Yeah,
where there was a few foreigners, this and that, and I was easy going with most people. But it was different, to be honest with you. It was different, but at the same time, the respect straight away from Slav. When you went out to train, it was like we're training. I remember my first, I think I came on at pre-season game. I can't remember who it was against, and I was absolutely average. I was, and I remember him saying like, "Listen, this is your first game. We'll let you off this one, but you need to liven up, training and that." And I was thinking, okay, I kind of need to get on it here, otherwise he's going to be on me. So it was good. I mean, that's that. You expect that when you don't perform, you expect that. But it was just different. It was a real kind of a sense of like, as I say, when he spoke, he kind of I need to be at it here now. So it was good though. Yeah, it was good.
Like what? Because my memory of it is really quickly you feel like one of the leaders of that team. Like obviously you're not literally the captain. You feel like the voice of the team. You feel like you represent that team. Did you have that sense quick? Have I misremembered that? Did it take a bit?
No, I think like again that then reverts back to me probably as a person. Quite easy to speak to most people. Not afraid to upset people if need be. And at the end of the day, you're all there to win 3 points each week, and that's that. Like we're all in the same as everyone else here. So, I think the one thing you do is if people question you, is that you gain respect by you perform well first and foremost. Then you've got a little bit of a voice, and you kind of slowly build it up. So my performances, fortunately, were going well, and through kind of pre-season, started the season all right, and so on. And I think that's how naturally you build a respect within the dressing room, first of all, the staff, and then the fans. If you rock up and you give it the big one straight away, but then you're a great guy in the dressing room, but you're all over the gaff on the pitch, then people are looking at like, kind of what's going on here. But I think naturally the way I was, it kind of built up, and then within a few other lads in the dressing room, it was just kind of how it was. Like
yeah, interesting.
You're part of almost like this legendary now like midfield that we had of Kearney, Steph, Joe, and yourself.
Such a great middle three.
It was unbelievable, and I remember, that first season for sure, but especially that second season, it was almost terrifying.
Yeah.
That you guys going forward. I know obviously you played more of a kind of I suppose you kept more of the structure and allowed Kearney and Steph Joe to sort of run off with it. But it was what's your memory of that? Was that something that was worked on in training, or was that all quite natural?
I think it was worked on, but also at the same time it was natural. We had a good link between the three of us as off the pitch first and foremost. So that kind of feeds in well when you're then playing as a midfield three. And I think Slav's seen that as a real positive to kind of dictate games the way he wanted to play, was the three of us playing there. So it worked really well. As I say, I was kind of the sitter of it and them to attack. I was all right attacking as well, but of course, like if you got the choice of them two or me attacking, you choose them all day long. So it just worked. It worked fluent, even when the times got tough, we were all right as a three as well. Once afraid to put our foot in, well, me and Steph anyway, maybe not T. But obviously being Steph was probably the worst fouler in the world.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
People, it was amazing.
He'd just walk off straight as he'd done it.
Yeah,
like
he knew there was a booking coming. He could sense a yellow card coming from here.
Totally. It was amazing, wasn't it? It was wonderful.
No, it was brilliant. It was, and again, it was great times off the pitch as well. Which I say that all the time because it was, and I think that then showed then on the pitch.
Yeah,
we done really well in the Championship, and don't get me wrong, I'm not naive to say we didn't once play in the Prem together. Which was
weird.
Yeah, it was disappointing, of course it was, but at the same time, I think you've been naive to think we would have been able to do what we've done in the Championship and in Prem. Do you know what I mean?
But do you think you would have been successful though? Like,
I think you needed players to come in and when you get promoted with the team that we had, you need to bring in players to kind of help the players that have been promoted. The kind of higher level players to bring up us ones as well. Yeah. And I think unfortunately probably at that time we didn't really get that bang on. And I think, don't get me wrong, games are maybe the kind of classes, the lower teams in the league, you probably could have played me, Steph and TC, and we probably could have dictated the game a little bit more. But when it came to opposite games where you're going to be up against it, you couldn't play the three of us. And you need to admit that there's no way that could have happened, because in the Championship we were the ones who had 70% of the ball every game. So when you then got 30%, you've got me, Steph and TC, it's never going to work. So we just need someone to kind of bridge that gap, and unfortunately, we never. But reverting back to, as I say, as a trio, it was brilliant.
Did you have that feeling that we're jumping ahead a bit here? We will get into Villa, but that we'd made too many signings in that break. Did you have that feeling internally, like in that team?
Well, again, you then sign players that are kind of big names and also big money. So their job is, no disrespect, is to then carry the players who might not be at that level. And again, I think it was just one of them. It was maybe a kind of a catalogue of errors, and from first and foremost we take full acknowledgement on the pitch that we obviously won good enough as a group of players, but at the same time, we had to look at it from a bigger perspective, and there was probably just a lot of things went wrong in that kind of season. And that's from everyone involved. So it's one of them things. That's football. It's how it was, and ultimately that's how it was meant to be. We're sat here now today where the team are flying now, and unfortunately you need to go through these things to kind of get to this level. So
totally, we're jumping ahead though, because we want to get into the 22-23 game unbeaten run, and especially just to kick it off, the Sunderland game that Coleman's in charge at Sunderland.
Because we lose 1-0, was it?
Yeah. And again,
Sunderland the bottom at that point.
Rock bottom. They hadn't won for so long.
They hadn't won in a year. Someone said no.
That's right. It's been like a whole year they haven't won. Yeah, and then we go to them thinking, oh, this is a shoe, and we lose.
Yeah, with Coleman. And there's a story here that like there's a night out after that.
Was there? Yeah.
And you because the way I see it, like when I hear about stories about you, is like you're almost like the social secretary of the team. Like you're telling people what's going on, what we're gonna do. But is that not true necessarily? Or like,
it might be, but not an individual secretary. There was a group of it.
Right.
Yeah. And it was a Christmas party. It wasn't a night out. It was a Christmas party. Every year, most teams have a Christmas party, and ours was booked. 2-3 months in advance. Of course, as you do, you look at a fixture and you think, bang, we're going there.
That's us.
That's us.
Go celebrate the 3 points in Christmas.
Or you get beaten, you rejuvenate. Do you know what I mean? So there's positives each way. There's no negatives. So it happened. We're playing Sunderland away. Perfect. Let's go Newcastle. Perfect, done.
Oh, months in advance.
Good. Yeah, probably a couple of months, I'd say. Normally that's kind of how you work it. You kind of ask the manager, this is what we're planning. And then that was straight to Newcastle. Slav would just like that. Okay, I remember something along the lines of, don't quote me on this as such, but listen, shocking result, shocking performance. Make sure you go enjoy yourselves. We'll see you on Tuesday. And that was how it was. Yeah. And then as you do Christmas party, straight to you think about the game for the first hour. As you do, you have a chat, first beer in the hotel, waiting on everyone coming down. Then put that out of your mind. 2 days, enjoy yourselves, and then back to it. And whatever happened on that weekend, it must have worked.
What's in them drinks? Something like
wild drinks up there. It is.
It's mad, like honestly, on this crazy run from that point on.
No, we were all like, it's just it bodes well for the story that we had a team Christmas party after that. But the foundations were there for the first X amount of games. It might have been a little bit up and down, but it was there. We'd done well the previous season. We were there. And we were always quite confident of doing well that season as well. So it just happened to, it's funny that it was then, and then, after that we start battering wins week in, week out.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Have you been in a team that's done that? Any other team?
I've been in a League One team at Wolves. Yeah, we got promoted to Wolves, and we were similar. I don't think it was as many as that, especially at that level. The Championship level was high level as well. So No, not to that extent. I just remember just going into each game thinking that we're winning this game. No matter if we go 1-0 down or, I thought the connection between players and fans as a club was bang on. We would get beat, we would be getting beat or whatever, and you could feel, you could sense that we're going to score, we're going to win this game, we're going to get us something from this game. That's just when you've got that confidence, and when you keep doing that, you go into each game naturally thinking like, we're winning. If not, we're drawn. If we're losing, we're going to throw it all to kind of go and get that point or go and get 3 points. So it's a great position to be in football, because there's nothing worse than being on the opposite side when you're going 5, 6, 7 games without a win. So it was brilliant. It was.
And there was actually a chance of automatic promotion finally in the end. Like getting to that final game, we just basically needed to. Was it? I think just a draw we would have done it with. Was it? Or did we need the win? Yeah. It's a better Cardiff result, and I think. For whatever happened, suddenly out of nowhere, you got the 23-game unbeaten run. Yeah. We had one more game, and it just didn't happen. What's your memories of that? Because there's always been this kind of talk of a bit of a bug in the camp and things like that. Oh, really? There was some vomiting from Matt Target, I believe.
Yeah, that was just because the sun was out.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was just, you didn't see it. But there was no bug. There was no excuses. He was just sitting. Do you remember that? Remember that? Yeah, he got sunstroke during the game. It was brilliant. It was. Really? Remember the ball? You must remember this. The ball came in the box and I need to get a video. Someone, must be a group chat that'll have that video. I know there's pictures of him being sick, crawling off the side of the pitch being sick.
Yeah.
A ball came in the box in whatever minute it was, and he's headed it out to clear. As he's headed it, 6 came out. It was after he's headed it. And we were like, what's going on here? What's happening here? And the next time he's down on the pitch being sick, he crawls to the edge, he's being sick off the pitch. It was wild. It was. I mean, it was only
like Saving Private Ryan or something. What
is that? Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, it was only 16 degrees as well.
It was only what?
It was only 16 now.
Was it really? Was it? It was Birmingham.
Birmingham,
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there was no excuses or anything like that. I think what it was one thing I do think as well. It's so easy to look back in a hindsight and say, "Oh, we need to better Cardiff's result." But if you're Cardiff, whoever they were playing, and they see that we're getting beat, you can naturally kind of relax a bit. Do you know what I mean? Okay. I don't think I was on any. Because they were doing all right. They were there for a reason. So I think on any given day, if they heard we were 1-0 up at Birmingham, they pick up. So it's easy to say that now. Do you know what I mean? But I think in the end, it worked out. It worked out brilliantly. Yeah, but it was. Not much was said at the game though. It was right, okay, we've been on an unbelievable run. Yeah, let's not think, oh, it's all done and dusted. We've now got playoffs to go and get involved and then go and win. And that was kind of the mentality switch to that straight away. Yeah.
But any concerns? Sorry, man. Any concerns having lost that game? Because it's very easy then to break patterns to get into cycles. Then, was there any concerns? Do you think that we've lost that momentum?
I don't think the momentum. I think the natural questions asked is then have they kind of got the bottle for it when the push officially came to shove? Because that was probably the one game where there was actually an actual pressure to go and win something as such. Well, there always is, but on that occasion we need to win and potentially go up. So that's the natural questions that come. But that comes from probably an outside. From an inside, it's a game of football. You've been beat with a bad performance. We've just had 23 without losing. So I think probably the more again. What then follows is to then get beat by Derby.
I was going to say.
That then leads into that which is the strangest part, is there were probably more confidence when we got beat after Derby than there was probably after Birmingham. I think we went to Derby and I remember I thought we'd done really well at Derby. The first game, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we'd done really well. We got beat, but I thought we dominated the game. We had good chances and there was a real confidence about us. We came back in the dressing room, no real shouting matches, no real arguments, some natural ones, but nothing.
Just a goal down as well.
Yeah, a goal down, and it's like, right, listen, we'll go back to obviously the cottage. The place will be bouncing. If we do exactly what we've done this game now, we'll win the game, and we did. And we should again. It was a good game. We should have probably scored more again on that night. And there was obviously no better way to go through it was the playoffs to be back here and win. Yeah.
Just quickly before we get into that game, because I haven't seen an atmosphere at Cottage like that, or very few actually over the years, but. Before the Derby game here, you do all the press after that thing. Did you feel again like that sort of sense of responsibility? Because you always got an impression that when the team were up against it, you were the guy that was going to be the voice of do you know what I mean? You were going to go front it a little bit in the difficult periods. Was that given to you, or did you just feel like that was a natural thing for you? I mean.
A natural thing, but I also think maybe the kind of media guys as well is sometimes, especially after losses, it's always the easiest ones to go and pick them in because senior pro. But I think they come in and say, okay, are you on the media? What do you think? And I'm all right with that. At the end of the day, you're a footballer, you've got a responsibility to perform, but also if you're doing well or not, you then, you know, there's fans, there's media, that's how it is, you know, it's obviously even more scrutinised these days, but like, I had no problem doing that, and if that made the team, or certainly even if that made individuals in the team feel 1-2% better, then you know, I'm all right with that, because I was probably the oldest in the team, but like oldest, most experienced, but also at the same time as a person, probably quite relaxed, so it didn't overly faze me doing things like that. Someone had to do it, and if there was, you know, if you asked a Ryan Sess or I don't know else who to go and do it, I'd like, well, I'll do it if you want, no problem. So, and that just probably came naturally, and and that's just kind of how it was.
It's nice, isn't it? Because that was almost exactly how you came across off the pitch. It was on the pitch as well. Like, you're talking about that on the, like, that blend. Like, your personality was almost exactly as you'd imagined it. Do you know what I mean? That's how it felt on the pitch.
No, it's good, and it is in itself. It's a compliment in itself, because I think there's probably people out there who, even when I'm speaking about this, like, well, maybe came across as quite relaxed, but, you know, maybe inside themselves they probably weren't. You know, in the dressing room they probably were a bit anxiety and stuff. Where obviously, of course, you have natural ones, but there's different ways of it, isn't there? There's anxiety where you're ready to go and play, you kind of get that out. There's other types who kind of carry it. They need to do the first thing right in the game, or otherwise suddenly, you know what I mean? So there's just different ways of doing it, and I feel I'm kind of blessed with that in terms of if I was having a bad game, it didn't really change much to me. It was like, well, you know, I think it's for myself and loads of people who've got that attitude. Is brilliant is to have that attitude, because the next game's the next game, the next action's the next action within a game, and that's just, I think that's the best way. I think that's what the best players, you know, hopefully sees today. Like, the best players, when something goes wrong, it's their next action is a positive action. And they're the best, you know, the best people for me as well.
Do you remember a better atmosphere than Derby? It's one of the best.
It was unbelievable.
Seen at the Cottage, I think.
It was unbelievable. I remember, I always say this, I remember one of the Sky guys, this is back when I was sitting in the dugout, like in between the teams. And the Sky guys that were sitting there going, are you guys expecting a pitch invasion? And I'm like, you know, really naive me going, no, I don't think so. I wouldn't worry about that, mate. Just thinking, no, I've been here, it hasn't been long, 4 years or whatever, 5 years, and I'm thinking, nah, don't worry about that, mate. You'll be fine. You're not going to get a picture. Yeah, so I said, don't worry about it. Obviously, final whistle, absolutely everyone. Oh, it was unbelievable. What an atmosphere. I mean, what was your thoughts on that, you know, that game, that second leg? Obviously, you got Sess, you got Adoy's salmon-like header. You know, what are your memories of it?
Brief memories of it, to be honest with you. Like it was a game that I've just felt we as a team felt so comfortable within. You know, even when we still need to score another goal, and that we always just kind of felt it was coming. I think the fans sensed that as well. You know, of course they're going to have moments. They're going to have moments in the game, and if they score, it would change it completely. But, you know, I thought we defended well, we attacked well, and I think it was just a sense that this goal's coming. It was like it was kind of meant to be as such. Just the same as you. I didn't really expect an onslaught from the fans after the game. I didn't really expect it at all, to be fair. It was, but excuse me, it
awesome,
was,
man.
It was unreal,
of emotions, really
it was,
incredible.
Well, I think as well, just knowing, you know, we're going to Wembley, Fulham going to Wembley. I think that was it. That
James behind the camera just explained that the reason it was so emotional was it was what do you call it? A slow, progressive, emotional build. Fantastic use of language after the
title for the episode.
which is what I would have said myself. If I thought of it. But did you have that sense that you're righting a wrong after Reading? Like you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'm not sure that's the right way to put it, but I know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Sorry, would you explain it as a slow, progressive, emotional?
I was going to say exactly that. It was. It was. I felt like it was kind of meant to be in that way, you know. Like after your Birmingham and stuff, and the way it was, I felt that's kind of how it was meant to. I thought again at Reading, that going back the previous season again, I thought we then deserved to kind of get something out of that as well. We played against a team that out of all the teams in the playoffs were the only one that was probably going to cause us a bit of an issue because of the way they played. And I think over the course of it, I can't remember, was it Callas or someone who gave away the goal or someone? Callas got a big card away. No, I think it was just one of them ones that kind of, the way it turned out was kind of meant to be, and it was brilliant from James there. I just like, it was good.
Yeah, fantastic.
And then obviously Wembley beckoned after that.
I remember feeling intimidated by Wembley just by being in there because it seems so unusual for Fulham to be there. It's so vast. I remember feeling nervous for you guys when you walked out because it just felt like really gladiatorial.
Yeah.
Did you have any sort of?
Well, going back. Sorry, before we go on to that, we had one thing we did as well have after the the Derby playoff game, we had 2 brilliant days out with the players. Brilliant. It was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, brilliant. We had a drink and that with the staff and that all here. I think yourselves and that, everyone involved and stuff. Like really good. And then the day after we had a team day out, which was, I think there was a good 22 of us. I met at the Bluebird in Chelsea and had like a full day, kind of having a drink and kind of celebrating. And then it was because I think we had 3 days off after it.
Right.
And obviously the manager again, which was really good for in terms of understanding the players what they need as people as well. Was like, listen, got a few days off, go and enjoy yourself. Mainly because he wanted to. You know, mainly he had the cigars that he was drinking for sure. He was, Big Slav was right on it. So it was like okay, well, let's go. You just go and enjoy yourselves as well. And that's what we done. So that then kind of a celebration, knowing that the main thing's coming, but a celebration of a successful season. Yeah. Because you can't just dismiss 46 games or 48 games like that. You know, we've got the one, but we've done brilliant to get to that point. We took one step ahead, one step from the following year, and now you can got the last one. So that was good. And then when you go into that, it was probably a moment where a lot more people, including myself, probably felt a little bit more of an anxiety going into it. A good anxiety, but maybe a little bit different to what I'd probably previously felt. Mm-hmm. Especially when you kind of came out when it was the 90,000 fans, you're thinking, you kind of need to be at it here again. Like, we need to start well because. But also the good thing is like for your younger people, and we've obviously then got to play. We're normally naturally for the seniors it can be all right, but you then got to play a bit more of a calmer head. You've not every game you've got 10, 15 friends, family, individually, every there's a lot of people a lot of their people there to support you personally. So I think you kind of got to like put on a brave face for that as well. But anyone that says they weren't nervous at all, I'd tell you they're lying. But once you then get started and kind of the game settles down a bit, it's what you've worked on every day of your life to get to that moment. So, and I remember the game being, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember the game not being the greatest of games, wasn't it?
I don't really know.
I didn't think they were great.
Stodgy.
No, I'm kind of the same, but I felt like we weren't as kind of free flowing. We had moments within it where we were really good to hit the goal and stuff, but I thought it was a bit of a typical championship final kind of game. It kind of
bit scrappy,
a bit tense, a bit scrappy. You just need to win on that day. It doesn't matter really how you perform, you just need to win. And I think everyone would say the same thing.
They had the experience. I remember thinking they had experienced it before. They knew what was needed and required, and that was quite intimidating.
Yeah, so people felt like Villa were in the box seat because they were Villa.
Yeah, I remember again.
It was John Terry.
I remember like going in. I had to be there early to do a quick rehearsal on the mic because I had 6 minutes in front of the Fulham fans, and then the Aston Villa guy had 6 minutes. And I remember saying to him, I was like, absolutely bricking it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I get there for the rehearsal, and the Aston Villa guy, I can't remember his name now. I was like, oh my God, how are you feeling? He's like, I've done this like 4 times before Wembley. And I'm like, have you?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Yeah. Fine. And even that in itself was like daunting. Like we were all, it wasn't just Villa that done it. He had been there and done it a fair few times. It was like old hat for him.
Yeah, after the game in his face, be like,
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
How was that? Like, how was it actually doing it though? Like for yourself, like when you actually done it, was it?
I've never been kind of more nervous, but I think the moment I started and the Fulham fans were so responsive to everything I'd said.
The thing is, you could have said anything.
Literally anything.
You said anything.
Honestly, I remember I remember really tapping into like the fact that London was our town. I think at the time there was rumours of the Khans trying to buy Wembley. So I'm like, this is our stadium, this is our town, and we need to let our friends from up there know all this stuff.
All right, so just a harsh edit because Kev's got to run off relatively soon to do other duties because he's Fulham. He's got to get mobbed by people in a Golden Lion very soon, or hospitality. And Neeskins Cabano's been in touch via James. He's got a voice note for Kev. We don't know what he said here. So let's see what happens.
The crazy guy. I miss him so much. Tell him it's clear.
Slav, that is.
No, this guy, honestly.
Good guy.
So Slav used to he'd say whatever he'd say about like the tactics or like training, whatever.
It's clear.
And he'd go in, but he hung on to the clear. He'd be like, "It's clear." We're like, "It's clear," and everyone was like, "It's clear, yeah. It's not clear." That's what he used to say all the time. He used to buzz up. Like, Cabano, good guy, man, really good guy. Cabano.
And what's the
I used to say it to Cabano all the time.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
in a nice, bantery, ironic way.
Yeah, of
kind
course,
of being.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Great, man.
We'd be doing you a disservice if we didn't talk about
Millwall.
The Millwall game, you know, again, like during that unbeaten run, they were flying at the time. They were playoff places, I think 17 games unbeaten, and the Den as places to go. I mean, a horrible place to go on the best of days. You know, the atmosphere is insane. And you know, what are your
really good memories about that? Not just about the goal, but I remember the confidence that we had in that game. Although, albeit they could have scored maybe 1 or 2 the first 15 minutes, they started really well, as you could imagine. But it was like one of them ones kind of round it out and we'll win this game. The confidence we had was sky high, as they probably did. But we knew, obviously, no disrespect, we had better players. We were the kind of the better team, and a Millwall team. A team that suits the way we play is against like a Millwall, against a Cardiff. Ones where they kind of want to press you, and if you get it right, then you can. And naturally, as time went on, you know, obviously, yes, I scored brilliant. Like boys were buzzing, of course, for me because it's very rare, especially shooting outside the box. So it was.
It was a worldie.
It was good, yeah. Jordan Archer was in goal, yeah. So a little backhander here. It was good, but on the whole, we just started to dominate that game. I don't know what was the final score then. It was about 3-0. Yeah,
was it 3?
Knowledge, Jeff.
Yeah, it was. I remember we battered them, and like it was like right, okay, like we're here. When you're on, but like London was kind of our city at that time. The confidence was sky high.
Yeah.
And we went there. No disrespect, we slapped them at that time.
Yeah. And
it was like right, Camille, you're not on that same level at that time. As good as they were, we were kind of with different kind of paths. And they were having an unbelievable season. But like as I say, the confidence throughout that squad, that
absolutely,
and the atmosphere was top.
I'm glad you mentioned the players because if you watch the footage. The players' faces they're so happy for you when you've hit that ball. Their eyes are like wide, all of them as they're running up to you.
Lucas Piazza, Mitro as well. There's a mixture. There was a happy, there was a baffled, surprised.
Just happened.
There was probably a raging from Steph. There was all sorts in there.
Yeah. They're really like mobbing you in a really intense way if you don't normally see the goals.
No, it was brilliant. It was, I was saying, like to score at that side in front of our fans as well. Again, the reactions were probably the same. A bit like probably more so happy from them. But yeah, I remember because even after the game, you go in the change room, everyone was like, "What the happened there?"
Yeah. Do you know what? It was the Harrison Reed hit of its era.
It was, I think.
I would say that it's a similar sort
just
of goal.
Just baffled.
Have you scored a better goal than that?
I've not scored many, you know.
No. It's interesting because you beat a player. And you can almost see it in your flow. You're like,
I'm sure. I'm not looking elsewhere. Yeah, I'm shooting.
I've just beaten some. I'm in that.
I was rolling it back. I was rolling it back. 16 years old, I was back. I was. No, it was nice. A nice moment. Yeah.
And is you're one of extremes as well because I remember that season. I think it was that season. You also did there's a couple of goals off which wasn't even sure had gone in.
Twerking,
you were facing the wrong way. It's come off your bum.
Leeds, wasn't it? Leeds,
was it Leeds?
Yeah, Leeds. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's funny that was. Yeah, good one that.
Fantastic.
So yeah, man, it's 2 promotions. Like, what do you like when you think back to Fulham? How do you feel? Did we get the best years out of you? Do you think, like as a player?
100%. Yeah. Well, like I've had really good times at other clubs, but I think I've said it numerous times that this is a club where I felt a real connection with. I played my best football. I enjoyed mainly every part of it. You know, the lads that came and gone, myself included, the way it was. It all worked out and just an amazing time, you know, that I remember seeing it somewhere before where people like in football and I think it was like an NFL played said before, like people like come and go in seasons, like people are meant to be there for seasons, people are meant to be there for 2 seasons, so the players that came and gone and helped us get promoted and when it came to relegation, that's just how it was meant to be in their moments. Yeah. And everyone's we're on different paths and we all connected at that time, which was brilliant, and especially them first 2 years and again on that other year, the maybe my 4th year. And I think it was just brilliant how it worked in their moments. You know, the second promotion again, as much I didn't play as many games, it was still brilliant. It was, you know, the lads were brilliant. The way we played, obviously the manager Scotty, I really like a lot of appreciation and respect for him. And yeah, it was a brilliant time, as I say, and I love coming back because I probably need to come back more often. I said to Jeff before, and hopefully, you know, when the day comes when I eventually retire, I can kind of enjoy it a little bit more. You know,
such a nice way of putting it. Actually, sorry, Ivan, but it's so rare to have that feeling of the team on the pitch are actually off the pitch are genuinely friends, and then there's that feeling of affinity between fans as well. It's actually like you might get that once every 10, 15 years at a club, and that was the moment for us, really, wasn't it? Where there was that genuine feeling between everyone.
Well, like I said, I said downstairs to Leah and stuff. You know, me, Betts, Alfie, Ryan Fredericks, we still kind of meet up quite a bit, go on holiday in the summer and things like that. So there's a good group. We tend to go to Vegas each year just for a little reunion and things. So it's It's good, yeah. It's dying off. People's misses are starting to take over a bit, but no comment. But yeah, so no, it's again brilliant times. Loved every minute, mainly every minute of it, and it's nothing but kind of love for the club and also the people within the club as well. It's not just fans. Obviously, these guys here, the people who go under the radar, these people as well are all brilliant and just went hand in hand. Yeah.
Sorry, I know we're going to wrap it up. I know I'm going to really, we'd be doing a disservice. I know it's a bit of a cliche, and there's a number of players that, people look at and go, man, that, they would make a brilliant manager, et cetera, et cetera. What does the future hold, would you say? Management just feels like such a natural step for you.
Yeah, it does.
I think I need to kind of right this moment in time at kind of the way it's fallen, kind of player coach at Exeter just now. So it's a real good opportunity to learn just now. Yeah. I think that as a progression is to look at a kind of coaching management longer term. I think one, I only know football. Yeah. Two, I don't really know what else I'd do other than that. I'm not sure about the media side of things for me, the way I speak, and sometimes a little swear word goes here and there. So I'm not too sure, but I think that's my natural progression is that me as a person, and obviously kind of love for football as well. So again, we'll see. I'm open to kind of anything, and that's obviously another chapter when this one closes, the next one opens, and we'll see what happens.
I've actually just seen you managing Fulham in the future. I've had a vision of it.
Team morale.
Make it true. Play this back in 10 years.
TC's your number 2.
He's got nowhere near it. Nowhere near it.
Beautiful, man. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Good.
Absolute pleasure.
No problem.
How good was that?
Brilliant.
He's so cool. Absolutely love him.
Miss him. Miss him.
He's just one of those players that he just did no messing around. He did his job. He did it well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every club needs a Kevin McDonald. You know what I mean?
Love Kevin McDonald. Also, it's just come up. Actually, Jeff's come up with the idea from behind the camera. Shout Jeff to just claim credit. Yo. He just said yo quite quietly.
He means it.
But Jeff said so. At the end, Kevin tells an anecdote where Jeff got him to go into the Golden Lion, and Kevin McDonald, as you would have heard, he got mobbed like Madonna in there.
Yeah.
There were like about every single...
Without the cone bra.
It was like...
And the little mini mic.
For a second, he got to live the experience of what it's like to be Jennifer Lopez. Was that an old reference?
In the Gold Lion.
Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter or whatever.
Go Sabrina Carpenter.
Taylor Swift.
Any of the youth watching. Yeah.
That's what it was like to be Kevin McDonald in the Golden Lion at that moment in time. And he took about 150... 200 photos of every single Fulham fan in that pub. If you took a photo with Kevin McDonald, we're going to try and get a carousel of those together.
Yeah.
Maybe when we finish the series, there will be... we can make some music to it, some emotional music.
Yeah, well, we'll go with Jennifer Lopez song, right?
Yeah,
get the rights,
exactly.
Secure the rights.
Modern pop star.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good idea.
Is it?
Yeah, because then that will show what the experience was like inside his head.
We'll get Kevin McDonald to tell us which track.
Yeah.
Depending on which superstar he felt like at the time.
Exactly. So as well as your heartfelt stories about Fulham Football Club, get in touch, fulhamfix@fulhamfc.com. To that same email address, if you have a photo from that moment, was it Burnley? Jeff has just corrected me, it was Brentford, massive. For the Brentford game, send your photo in, and at the end of this Fulham Fix series, when Fulham have qualified for Europe...
Jinxed it.
We will celebrate that with a reel of Kevin McDonald photos with you. Set to pop music. Pop music. I've said that like I'm 120 years old.
All right, Grandad. Yeah. Jeez.